All right, board roll call. Danetta Roberts, Ted Gibbs,
Here.
Martin Poor,
Here.
Gary Gilbert, Jeremiah Burns.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Isaac Akia, Humberto Ramos, Teresa Shield,
Here.
Robert Snipes, Mark Davis.
Here.
I am here. Mark Gilbert,
Here.
Stephanie Gonzalez,
Here.
Sherry McDaniel, Nick Sherman, I see him.
Here.
Stephen Fonville, James Forcell, Doris Tubing, Mabel Vaughn, Keith Steffen. Thank you, everyone. We have a quorum. Okay, we'll now go on to the invocation. Mark.
Father, we come to you now and we praise you and we thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. We ask you to be with our country, be with our state, and be with our local governments. We ask you to be with the sick and be with those traveling. Give them safety and give the sick comfort. We ask you to now bless these proceedings here. May we come to good decisions for the betterment of everyone here, of all these companies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Okay, item 4, election of vice president. If you've seen the general manager's notes and you see Ms. Frankie is sitting up here now on the different side of this meeting. Ms. Frankie was hired and began her work in December for Canyon Regional, and that leaves us with a gap at vice president. And so we'll need a nomination for vice president.
I second that.
Can you use your mic, please? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not, I don't know if. Okay.
I'd like to nominate Nick Sherman.
I
Okay.
still second that.
Okay. So we have a nomination of Nick Sherman for vice president. I guess feel the need to ask Mr. Sherman if that's a position he's willing to do, and then I'll continue opening it up for additional nominations if there are going to be any.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we have any other nominations for vice president? Any other nominations? Okay. With that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of Nick Sherman as vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Sherman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 5, announcements. The Board of Trustees of Canyon Regional Water Authority may during the meeting close the meeting and hold an executive session pursuant to and in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The Board of Trustees may at any time during the meeting close the meeting and hold an executive session for consultation with its attorneys concerning any of the matters to be considered during the meeting pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. I believe we do have one announcement this evening.
I do. Would like to honor one of our team members at Canyon Regional, Mr. Joe Moreno, sitting along the wall over here. I appreciate you coming, Joe. Mr. Moreno has been with Canyon Regional now for 20 years.
Wow.
He is the first Canyon Regional staff years, so he's the first. Now we actually have 3 more coming next. 2006. Actually, you were working on a contract here, and you got those.
Can you grab a microphone, Carrie? So
Sure.
Just unplug it. I was saying that Canyon Regional actually poached Joe from a contractor, and who was it?
Cunningham Construction.
Okay.
Yeah,
And who poached you?
Charlie Powell.
Charlie Powell?
And David Davenport.
Yeah. So we have for Joe, plaque, honoring your 20 years of service, card. We have awarded you a gift to commemorate your service. It's a custom order, so it hasn't arrived yet. I apologize for that. We're not even going to tell you what it is yet,
Okay, fair
but
enough.
we hope you like it, and
Sure.
we'll tell everybody else on the next meeting. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
Really appreciate it.
Okay, does anyone else have any other announcements? Thank you very much, Joe. We appreciated the tour you gave the Board of Managers. It was reported favorably here at this meeting a couple months ago, and we appreciate your efforts and look forward to working at least another 20 years.
Just say for 20.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if there aren't any more announcements, we'll move on to item 6, public comments. Comments on non-agenda items, no discussion from the board, 3-minute time limit. And then comments on specific items on this agenda, discussion from what the board may be allowed, a 3-minute time limit per citizen, and that time may not be shared or ceded to another citizen. Any public comments? Okay, thank you. We'll move to item 7, consent items. Item 7A is concerning the approval of the minutes for October 14th and November 10th meetings last year. Item 7B concerns the approval of the financial and check register report for September, October, November, and December. And then item 7C is the first quarter investment report for fiscal year 2026. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll make a motion to approve all 3 consent items.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbs, second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Thank you, Nick. Okay, item 8, reports. We'll start with water supply, facility operations, and capital projects.
And so you do have updates in your packets on these subjects. Are there any questions?
Could you maybe give a brief update on the well, or is that in your general manager notes?
It's in my
Okay,
general
thank
manager notes. I'll go ahead and start just on my notes. So I'm gonna start with administrative. So we did fill the assistant general manager position. We received 16 applications for that. I did conduct 4 interviews. I did ask for some assistance in conducting those interviews and was advised not to, and so I did conduct those on my own. However, I did have a human resources representative in the room just as an observer. Conducted 4 interviews. I actually brought back 2 at the candidates for a second interview. Ultimately selected Ms. Frankie, and she did begin last month. We also have filled the controller position. I received 18 applications for that position. We scheduled 6 interviews. One of the applicants found another job before their interview, and so they canceled. So we conducted 5 interviews. Ultimately, I selected a gentleman named Brian Zaleski. He is coming to us. He's originally from Texas, came to us is coming from New Mexico. He will begin in late January or early February. The plan was for him to begin in the 3rd or 4th week of this month, but that was contingent, or not necessarily contingent. He was planning on being here last week to do paperwork and get some of that stuff going, but they had bad weather in New Mexico, so he was unable to make it. So, we'll once we get a start date nailed down, we can let everybody know if it's not before the next meeting. In addition to that, we have filled 2 operator positions. We brought one of our distribution operators into Lake Dunlap to be an operator there. We've added another operator at Lake Dunlap, and then we replaced the position out in our distribution group. So we're getting there on the operator side as well and getting staffed up. Last thing, administrative. If you didn't catch it, if you came in from the wrong angle, we do have a portable building set out back to give us more space until we can expand this building. There's still, we still haven't accepted it yet. There's still a couple of items outstanding, but in the next few days, we hope to have staff out there so that we have enough room. Any questions on the administrative items? Sir?
I've got a question. With regards to, you've been here how long? 2 years?
Almost, yes, sir.
Okay. Within those 2 years, how many people have you hired? Is it 5?
Oh,
I think it's 5.
yeah, I believe.
Okay,
yes,
how many people have been here prior to you hiring? Prior to you coming to Canyon Region, was it 17?
When I started, I believe we had 19 or 20. When I
Can you
first,
find out for me?
yeah, sure.
One of the things I'll ask, Mr. Chair, I've asked this before and I haven't gotten this, is an organizational chart. You know, it's been 2 years
Mhm.
and we staffed up 5 and there's no organizational chart. So I asked that we have, at some point, the GM present an organizational chart.
Yeah, that's also part of Carrie's goal, if I remember correctly, is an organizational chart was part of the goals.
Well, I would think sooner than better, I mean, because we were
Yeah,
staffing.
yeah. No, I didn't mean to take longer. I just meant that I think it's part of the goals that, I think it may have been a first quarter goal. I'm going to touch on, Carrie did ask me last November, I think, if I would sit in on interviews, and I declined for reasons that I made clear at the last meeting in November, that we hired a GM to hire staff, and I didn't think the board president should be sitting in on the interview because I thought it would undermine his authority. So I declined to participate in those interviews.
Yes, ma'am.
Regina is part of the lawsuit with San Marcos. Is she legit to sit here as an employee of Canyon Regional? Because she's one of the entities from the Hayes Caldwell Group, Crystal Clear, Maxwell, Martinville, and County Line.
Well, Crystal Clear is in that lawsuit, not
But she
Regina
was-
Frankie.
But she was their spokesperson manager when this all went down. And she was very vocal about not participating in the rate study. She was very vocal, and I wasn't on media and at the mediation. But that's one of the reasons I understand that the mediation fell apart. I just don't think that this is like putting the fox in the henhouse to me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Okay. I can just say that I've had this discussion with Regina. Regina no longer represents Crystal Clear. She represents Canyon Regional Water Authority, who represents the best interest of all of our member entities, regardless of what happened before they were here.
But prior to her hiring, she was a party to the suit.
May I defer to the attorney? Should we be discussing executive session? I mean, we don't want to disparage anybody. I mean, come on, we need some direction from y'all. You know, what should we do here in this situation? But then I think y'all need to call executive. I appreciate you bringing that up, but I think we need to have a discussion on that. But for the sake of disparaging anyone, I'm not in a position of that. I know you're not in the position of that. There's some hard feelings here, and I think we need to have a candid conversation. And I would wish y'all would step up and say, we need to go to executive session instead of sitting here, letting us become liable, the board becoming liable for what may happen here.
So at any point, any board member can make a motion that we move an item into executive session.
True, but we have.
No, I'm not chastising you at all, Humberto. I'm just saying that if we want to take this in executive session, I just need a motion from somebody here.
But there's a conversation, and the board is having a conversation. And the board, lack of a better term, can be liable for some of the things that are being said here, and it's silence from our bond counsel. So I would hope our bond counsel would step in and say, this is something to be discussed at executive session. With that being said, I'll make a motion, to go to executive session, discuss this item.
Okay, so we have a motion to go in executive session. As a reminder, if it's not an executive session topic, we have to vote on it, and that vote has to pass for us to go in executive session. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a second from Ms. Vaughn. Any other discussion? Would you like to go in executive session now or move this item into executive session?
No, I agree. We can take this executive session at the end. I have
Okay.
heartburn with
All right,
that.
attorneys, you good with that? Okay.
I just asked those items that are brought up, these items are listed. Sure, we'll wait,
Okay.
discuss those.
Okay. Any other discussion? We understand the motion. We're going to move this item into executive session. We're not going to go into it immediately. We will. Yeah, I'm about to. I'm just making sure everyone understands what we're doing real quick. So we'll take up this item in executive session when we go into executive session later on in the agenda, not immediately. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay.
All right, Hayes Caldwell Water Treatment Plant. The Hayes Caldwell Pipeline or the Reedville Pipeline, approximately, this is as of last week, approximately 4,000 linear feet has been installed. The contractor's moving right along. They're getting ready to start their bores. And they are on schedule to complete, on schedule. They will complete construction ahead of the deadline that's established in the wheeling agreement. The mobile membrane units, still coordinating with TCEQ to satisfy all their requirements. I think we're getting close there. Just as a reminder, the rental unit is currently in operation. The unit we've bought isn't yet. If we got into an emergent situation and had to use it, the TCEQ would allow us to, but we'll get that going as soon as possible. The pilot study, they have completed the pilot studies. The consultant right now is compiling the data for a report that will then be submitted to the TCEQ. And then once the TCEQ does their review, which is probably going to take 90 days, we are presuming that all three products would be approved for use at the facility. We'll wait and see. But all three performed well in the pilot studies. So, any questions on Hayes Caldwell?
I got a question, Carrie. With regards to page 142 and number 5, overall construction schedule, it shows that we're 127.7% over number of days.
That for phase one?
I'm
For the ground
assuming-
storage tank, yes, sir.
Yeah, so why is that the case? I don't expect it right now, but I expect some answers as to why is that the case? Why we're exceeding the schedule? Are we looking at liquidated damages? What's causing the delay on a lot of these issues?
Okay.
I think I can answer the question right now because I sit on the construction committee meeting. You may remember we had what was, I think, referred to as David's list. I think that had provided some amount of time and delays to the contractor, if I remember correctly. And if I'm incorrect, Bobby, just wag your finger at me, but you're nodding your head yes. So I think some of those delays were related to that.
I appreciate that, President, but I'm asking the general manager to provide me a response as to why this is not being managed. Currently, we have 5 people. Why is this not being kept to schedule?
Okay, point taken.
Wells Ranch, an RFQ has been let out for a public-private partnership owner's representative. Those submittals would be due on February the 16th. And we will, right now our plan is to have a recommended firm to recommend to the Board of Managers and the Board of Trustees at their April meeting. Once we do that, we can start working on a proposal to get an actual P3 agreement executed. The goal is to get that executed late this year, late summer, early fall, so that we can actually move forward. Probably the biggest piece of news, well number 3 failed last week. Mr. McMullen has been working with a driller. They've pulled all the equipment. They're assessing it right now. It looks like it's probably the same sort of failure that happened on well one, but not as catastrophic. It's looking like it is probably repairable right now, but they've just gotten everything pulled out to make that assessment and see what it's going to take to repair it. Well, number one, it's not really an update, but the TCQs does have the information. We're pushing as hard on them as we can to get approval so that we can start drilling. And David's been working with the driller to get him out there as soon as we can. I was leaning towards going ahead and pulling the trigger, especially with well 3 failing, and starting drilling ahead of the approval. But the driller will lose their license if they do that. So that is not an option for us. So our only option right now is just to push TCQ as hard as we can to get well 1 up and going. Any questions on Wells Ranch? No real updates on the different groups.
I'll move us on real quick. on
Okay.
the agenda.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, if no more question on water supply, facility operations, and capital projects, we'll move on to item 8B, external affairs, regional planning, and administrative reports.
The Regional Planning Group, their next planning group meeting is scheduled for January the 23rd at 9:30. My understanding is that there are 11 committee seats that are open right now. My understanding is that there's a kind of a concerted effort to fill the agriculture and one of the other seats. Is that correct, Mr.
Yes,
Ramos?
if I may, Mr. General Manager. So the meeting is scheduled for February 5th at 9:30 at San Antonio Water System. There currently are around 11 vacancies, of which, actually there's 13, 11 of which are incumbents and they're coming back, and there's 2 vacancies for ag. And so there's some interest to try to fill these ag positions. And there is 1 vacancy for a small business. And so there's be some interest to try to fill these ag positions, because ag, as you know, is part of this planning process. And that's going to be very interesting, because as we go through this process of dealing with Gonzales Groundwater District, names are popping up like Ted Boriak, and there's a possibility he may be able to sit at a regional based on these positions that are open. So being that Regional is transparent and accepts everyone's nominations, just let everybody know that there is 2 open positions for it.
Are you up or are you good? Do you need a supporting
I'm
document?
there to 28 or something like
Okay.
that, 26. No, we're in 26.
Yeah,
28.
26.
28.
Thank you for that update. The GMA 13 meeting, they had a regular meeting scheduled on the 9th of this month. Due to sickness, that was canceled, so their next regular meeting will be on February the 13th. No real updates on the groundwater districts. Gonzales, they do have another regular meeting tomorrow at 5:30. They also have a mitigation workshop scheduled next week on the 20th to go over their mitigation rules and some of the proposed rules. So we will definitely be attending that as well. Guadalupe, their next regular meeting is February the 12th. They just had a meeting. No real updates there. Staff continues to work with them on our planning efforts in Guadalupe County. Then Alliance Regional coordination is ongoing between Alliance, GBRA, and our legal counsels regarding the deficiencies in the water treatment plant. That discussion is ongoing, and strategizing on how we can recover some of the costs on that. Next regular board meeting for ARWA is on January 28th. Any questions on any of those updates?
Will you turn your mic on, Jim?
Yeah, what's the location of this water treatment plant for Arwa?
I'm sorry? Dale High. I'm not familiar enough with the area to be able to tell you. I've been there, but
Is that Dale like a Bastrop?
Yeah.
Oh,
What county is it in?
Bastrop probably, maybe Caldwell.
It is called.
We'll send you a map.
Sorry, south, southeast of Lockhart, because kind of go east and a little bit south and east again, after you get out of Lockhart, so.
Okay. I can send you a map with the pin on it, showing you that location.
You mean,
Other questions for staff?
just curious, if down on the coast or something.
It is north of I-10.
Legal, any updates from legal other than our executive session topics?
Yeah, I just have a couple quick updates on the Windsor Chase lawsuit. I think last time we talked, we were going to request a court dismiss the counterclaims on a plea to the jurisdiction. We received a ruling on that. There's 4 counterclaims that were asserted against Canyon Regional. We had 3 of them dismissed. One of them, the court did not dismiss. That ruling has been appealed. The appeal is being handled by Rubin's firm, Langley and Banat. So that case is going to be on ice for a while, which is fine because the temporary injunction prohibiting use of those wells remains in place during the appeal. San Marcos litigation, there's been some progress. We'll talk about that in executive session. And then in the Tri-Hydro case, we're still on for trial in July, mediation in May, and there's a court hearing on Wednesday in that case. So I'll give you an update on that one next time. That's what I got.
Questions for legal?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a comment or a request, but this goes back to staff. Is it possible for a general manager to provide us a monthly calendar of the meetings he's attending and what he's doing with these within the month? I know other utilities, me in particular, I know the Alliance, others do that, provide the board what they're doing for the rest of the month as far as meetings.
Sure. I don't think that's a problem.
No, not at all.
Okay. We'll move on to item 8C, Committee and Board of Managers reports. Discussions on meetings held by Executive Budget, Construction, and Contract Review Committees, as well as the Board of Managers. Executive Committee, we just met to discuss the agenda. Budget Committee has a meeting Wednesday at 10:30 to discuss the fiscal year 25 budget, the end of year, and then also the audit. And so we'll have the audit on the agenda for next month with hopefully a recommendation from the Budget Committee. Construction Committee, Nick, you want to give us an update to anything in your packet or in the packet?
Yes, sir. Carrie touched on most everything. There was some brief discussion earlier, some questions regarding the phase 1 project. The timeline was specifically discussed in the construction committee. We asked that staff come back to us with recommendations specifically to the topics that were brought up earlier with the duration overrun. So that was discussed in the committee, and we expect to report back in the next committee meeting. And then the well number 3 was the biggest item discussed. We didn't have a whole lot of information. We actually heard a little bit more today than we had in the committee meeting because it was so recent, but the general manager touched on all the items I was going to speak on.
Thank you. Questions for Nick? Okay, Contract Review Committee did not meet after our last meeting. And Board of Managers, Mr. Gage.
Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. So first off, I want to thank Maxwell Sud for graciously hosting the Board of Managers this past week. That was very wonderful. Appreciate y'all doing that. Nice new building. We got to see it, so that's very good. We had a lot of discussion in the Board of Managers meeting this time. I won't rehash it because Carrie kind of went over most of them in terms of, Wells Ranch 3, the future of Bloomberg leases and such. So I won't cover that, but I will cover 2 things that we discussed broadly. One of the things is, and if the Board of Trustees is aware, with Wells Ranch 3, Canyon Regional has quite a handful of groundwater leases from various places, right? And as discussed in the Board of Managers, we're going to have to make some decisions as a board and as an organization coming up with what we're going to do to maintain those leases. I'm just telling you here, there's no action item tonight, but it was discussed in the Board of Managers. We have some pretty serious strategic decisions to make in the future, and that's just how I put it. Kind of the second thing is after we toured Hayes Caldwell plant, which was very good, by the way, because a whole bunch of us that advise on the board of managers and also trustees don't see that thing because it's, we don't use it, right? So it was very helpful to us to get a good picture of, the status of things. And one of the things we discussed was, scheduled maintenance and projects and kind of the difference between those two things. And, as board of managers, we're going to help staff to kind of prioritize some scheduled maintenance activities so we can do that routinely throughout the year. Not saying the staff doesn't do that. What I'm saying is we need to be more deliberate about it, make sure we collect the right money for the right stuff and be a little bit more efficient. And I think that's somewhere where the board of managers can be helpful. And that's what we're looking to do. The next tour, so everyone knows, we're going to Wells Ranch. So we'll have hit in the last 3 months, all major treatment facilities, and that really helps us. We've met some great operators like Archie out at Hayes Caldwell, and of course we just recognized Joe tonight. Rock stars, great guys. I know Austin's ready to have us. I know him out at Wells Ranch. He's ready to have us. Right? It's Austin, right? I didn't mess that up. Okay, thank you, Carrie. Anyway, pending any questions, there's a full memo in your board packet.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to item 9, general business. Discuss, consider, and take possible action on resolution 26-01-004, ratifying the action of the general manager in approving change order number 3 in the amount of $4,968.88 for additional costs associated with the Hayes Caldwell Improvements Phase 2 project.
So this item is for flashing around the base of the building that's housing the equipment. It was not included in design. It was discovered during construction. The cost would have been there anyway. So even though it's considered an E&O, it's still a cost that will be borne by Canyon Regional. So to keep construction moving, I did go ahead and approve that. I did bring it to the construction committee and the board of managers. So they would be aware and sought their recommendation. Nick, I'm guessing that you are giving those recommendations to approve those or to ratify the approval?
Yes, sir. This is an item that would be included in the job. If it were included, it might have a little bit less cost associated with it. But if it was included in the bid, we would have been paying for it anyway. So I do recommend the approval of this item and can make a motion when we're ready.
1 second, Nick, and then we'll let you.
Hey, board of managers discuss and supports.
Okay. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to ratify the decision of the general manager?
I'll make a motion.
Keith has made a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second from Mark Gilbert. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passed. Okay, item 9B, similar item. Discuss, consider, and take possible action on resolution 26-01-05, ratifying the action of the general manager and approving change order number 2 in the amount of $11,739 for additional costs associated with the Lake Dunlap Water Treatment Plant Strainer Improvements Project.
So this primarily has to do with a concrete pad that was poured to support the temporary strainers. If you'll recall, we have to assemble the strainers outside the building and put them in service while they're tearing out the strainers on the inside, and then move the new strainers inside the building. After construction started, it was discovered that there were no locates done in that area that was going to be under the pad. And so, excuse me, this work is associated with that as well as coordination of that pad. They ended up going with a lighter weight concrete, and as well as some surveying that was not done during design that was needed for construction. This originally started off a little over $20,000. Mr. Rodriguez negotiated with the contractor and got it down to just under $12,000. It was holding us up. It's holding up all construction. So I approved it so that we could move forward. When asked why there was no survey done, why those locates weren't done, the answer that I've received from my design consultant is that they were directed not to do that. However, they have declined to tell me who might have told them that. So as of right now, I am considering this an error and omission, and I am considering it to be the responsibility of the design consultant. I did approve it so we could move forward. It was like I said, it was holding everything up. But we will be pursuing this as an E&O, error and omission.
Okay, and likewise, I believe this had the support of the construction committee and the board of managers. Has got a thumbs up from Phil for board of managers. I will entertain a motion to
Make a
approve.
motion to approve.
Got a motion by Keith, second by Tracy. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you. Item 9C, discuss, consider, and take possible action on amending the CRWA Board of Directors administrative policies to include a policy on hiring past and present appointed CRWA board members and hiring past and present appointed CRWA board member immediate family members at CRWA. Mr. Ramos reached out to me in November and asked if we could put this on the agenda for December. When we weren't having a December item, I reached out to him and he kindly offered to punt it until January so that we didn't come to a meeting for these two items. So please, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I did contact you November 24th. You did say, I did provide you some verbiage as to what I think a policy should be. And so I appreciate you moving forward with this item. So what I want to do is basically bear with me and just make some statements here. All Canyon Regional Board members take an oath when service to this organization begins. Vow to protect this organization, avoid conflicts of interest. Protect the integrity of the position as a governance of this utility. What I'm trying to do here is avoid such action that goes against our oath, that goes against this organization, that protects the organization, and provide guidance to avoid situations, which some we've heard of earlier. At the November 2024 Canyon Regional Board meeting, it was concerning to me that the general manager stated he did not know where the line was between the board and the hiring practices were with this organization. It was concerning to me that he would have some board members participate in the interview process for the controller. I voiced my concern about this at that time. My efforts here are not to be part of an interview process. That's not my point here. My point is, after the meeting, I was approached by Ruben Barrera, board attorney, stating that certain board members have direct access and direct influence into the general manager. The attorney asked for my assistance in preventing this from happening in the future. On that weekend, I was approached by the president with regards to stating again, certain board members have been sending numerous emails to staff and having direct access to staff and general manager. My comment to the president was this needed to stop. And this is, again, remind the board what our role is here. Our role is governance. Again, this effort to provide governance guidance for the current board and general manager and future board members and GMs to prevent the persona, the notation, the reality of favoritism, preferential treatment, perception, collusion, unethical behavior from occurring with this board is our responsibility. And so therefore, what I have before us, and I apologize, it's not included, but I did give the president my thought process on avoiding board members from actually being employed on Canyon Regional with a grace period. I believe I have 2 years. I know this is common for some utilities. This is also common for municipalities. A lot of us represent municipalities. A lot of us represent utilities. It's not common for a board member who is a direct boss of the general manager to be employed by the utility. Makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Some of you may reference what's on our administrative policy section 3.5 about employment. I hope you, if this is referenced, I hope you understand what the context of this was for. The context of this was for a contractor. The context of this was for the previous general manager, David Davenport, having his son who owns the SCADA company. Herholzer. And that's what the purpose of this is. So we lack a policy that protects the government, protects our oath, protects this conflict of interest, protects what Mabel brought up. We need some type of policy that basically says that. What happened, happened. I can't do nothing about that. What I'm saying is moving forward, there needs to be some thought process. We're all going to change. This situation was not thought about when Mr. Davenport was here. This situation was not thought about when this was developed. This situation has come up before us. And so we've got to do something about this. This should not be an effort where previous board members who have direct influence, preferential treatment, get favors. I will stop at that. And I do have a policy. Again, if
Yeah, I
it's-
apologize. I'm sorry that I did not mean to leave it off intentionally, Humberto. I pulled up your email. I have it here. It is 2 years, yes.
And again, basically, there's some language, and I know you don't have it, so I'm willing to table this. We can take a vote. You choose to not do this, that's fine. I understand I may be dismissed by this group. I'm fine with that. But I know my integrity. I've been involved with this organization for, going on 15 years. And what's happening here is uncalled for. This should not be happening. And there was decisions that were made that will be called to question. And so I ask that we've got to fix moving forward. As we've always said, these handshake deals have got to stop. This favoritism has got to stop. This is basically what's happening right before us. And I will not allow this to happen. And if we choose to not do anything, fine. Inaction sometimes is guilty as well. So again, I'm not sure what we choose to do here. I asked that there be some policy. I did give you some verbiage. Maybe we table it, bring it up next time so you can look at the verbiage. I asked many of you who are involved in cities, is this a common practice? As a city council member, you sit and you could be on an employee at council, employee within the utility or the city. Makes no sense to me. That's not possible.
I also, if I remember correctly, there's a prohibition on consulting work too. Is there not a prohibition in law on consulting work as it relates to a former board member? Yeah, so maybe we need to line it up to something like that.
Thank you for listening to me.
I would like to make one quick comment. You referenced 2 years. One, some of those is 1 year. So that may be something to consider as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't oppose your thought process.
Yeah, in the city of Kyle, is 2 years. So that's,
Yeah, so my suggestion would be to table this item for next month and let's have language and let's get it out to you on time. And then we could talk about whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, whatever it may be.
Do we have a policy committee?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
That section that he's referencing, I think it was 3.5 about employment.
Yes.
It needs to be rewritten because I don't even think it's serving its intended purpose. If I remember correctly, it says that we can hire someone. Completely opposite. It doesn't say that we can't.
No, it says first sentence, board may confirm the appointment to any position. We don't appoint, they get hired. So I think the basis for this was the conflict with the general manager and the consultant, his son, which owned that business. And so all I'm asking for is some clarification.
Yeah, section 3.5 is actually written for hiring a GM and hiring someone related to one of us board members. I use examples. If my wife was trying to apply here, y'all are not allowed by law to put her in that spot. You cannot put someone related to me, related to you, anyone in the GM role. I think what Mr. Ramos is asking is to expand that out, and I think it's a worthwhile discussion to have.
3.05 appears to be inconsistent with Chapter 573 of the Government Code, which deals with nepotism. But more importantly, if we start circulating any kind of a policy, legal counsel needs to start looking at it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I have the language here, so I'll get it over to you and we can do that.
Okay.
so if it's a complete section of the policy, should we reinstate the policy committee?
If we were going to review an entire policy, I'd say yes, but if we're just going to redo a section on employment, I'd say we probably can get that language drafted with legal counsel's employment attorney.
Okay.
I think we've got a good idea. If we were trying to do more wholesale changes, and I think we've got an idea here what we're looking to accomplish. Right.
All right, thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to table this until next month?
I make a motion to table it until next month so that we can look over and evaluate it a little bit more.
Thank
And
you.
a second.
Okay, I'll take the second from Ms. Shield. Mic's on. Any other discussion on this item? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Just for record, Nick's not here, so he may be listening, but his screen's not on, so he doesn't count as a vote. Okay, let me get back to my agenda. Okay, item 9D, discuss, consider, and take possible action on improving an independent investigation to be conducted into the hiring practice of the CRWA General Manager regarding the hiring of an Assistant General Manager at CRWA.
Is that possibly, we can take that executive session? I mean, because I think that kind of correlates to what Mabel was discussing.
I agree.
Is that a motion? Second?
That's the motion, or I'll second his motion.
You've motioned to move this into executive session?
Yes.
Okay. Keith, you've seconded that
Yes, sir.
motion? Do we all understand what the motion is? It's to take item 9D into executive session.
That seems to correlate to this.
No, that's different. That's correlates to 10E.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, and I assume we're doing that in our executive session. We're not doing that immediately. Okay. Item 9E, discuss and consider and take possible action on Resolution 2601-006, authorizing the board president to execute an amendment to the general manager's contract to provide for an extended term. We've got this as an executive session item too, so we might as well have that discussion all at the same time while we're having the rest of our executive session topics, and then come back out and vote on this item. If y'all are comfortable with, changing the order of the agenda here and go into executive session first. I'm not hearing anyone opposed to that, so that's how we'll handle this item. Item 9F, discuss, consider, and take possible action on Resolution 2601-007, approving the amendment to the lease agreement between Canyon Regional Water Authority and Hilmar D. Bloomberg Frost Bank, trustee of the Hilmar Daniel Bloomberg Trust, UWO Jane Weinert, thank you, sir. B. Lumberg, Hilmar Daniel Bloomberg, and Karen Bloomberg, co-trustees of the Jordan T. Bloomberg 1994 Trust and Jordan T. Bloomberg for Guadalupe County, Texas. I'll hand this over to staff or legal.
So CRWA entered into a groundwater lease agreement with the. Back in 2014, CRWA entered into a groundwater lease agreement with landowners that were identified in this agenda item. That agreement is a pretty standard CRWA lease agreement that was entered at that time with respect to the way that royalties are calculated and the manner in which they're paid, including the adjustment based upon the CPU. In 2016, that contract was amended under a document called Contract Addendum that provided for a 5-year alteration to the lease, which essentially gave Canyon Regional a bit of savings on a temporary basis by adjusting the royalties that were payable. That 5-year kind of adjustment period came and went in 2021, and the lease was never adjusted to go back to the way it was originally written in 2014. This landowner approached Canyon Regional and has requested an amendment to the lease agreement to address a couple of things. One is the manner in which the royalties are calculated. They want to move away from the present two-tiered structure for paying those royalties. They also requested that certain special conditions apply on the property, such as burying utilities, lowering electrical lines, and other things that would help the aesthetics of the property. There's been a series of meetings between the landowner and the general manager. There was a meeting between the landowner and council and the general manager and I that occurred in this room back in December. We have a draft lease agreement. There's some deal points that have been going back and forth. They are not finalized. There's not an agreement for you to vote on tonight, but what I would like to see is an item that delegates to the general manager the authority to finalize those negotiations, get a lease agreement signed subject to ratification by you as a board. We've been working with them for a long time. They've been working with us in good faith, but are understandably growing impatient. I would really prefer not to discuss the specifics of the proposed amendment in public because it is different than many of the other leases that we have. But that's the action that we're looking for tonight, given where we are.
Is that item going to be consistent with the agenda item?
That's a
The agenda item is approving the amendment to the lease agreement, but I think you're seeking for a little bit of different action here. I think you're asking for the general manager to be able to negotiate, execute.
Yeah, there's not an addendum to approve tonight or an amendment.
Okay.
What we'd like to do, I mean, there's two ways of doing it. You can just table this item until we've got an agreement at the next meeting. What I'm seeking, and we ought to hear from your general counsel, but what I'm seeking is really a delegation to the manager to be able to finalize this process and bring you back a document.
And all I'm asking is if the public's been duly noticed about the action we're going to take.
Yeah, because I mean, you can always do less. You can always do less. You can't do more. And so if all you're doing is giving Carrie guidance, that's okay.
Okay.
I just want to note that we've met with the participating members and they all agreed to the new terms that'll go in the amendment. We just don't have the actual language finalized yet for the document.
Yeah, and that was really part of the delay is we came to what we thought were deal terms with the landowner. Your general manager, in an abundance of caution, wanted to meet with the stakeholders and make sure that there was buy-in before we executed a document. And then based upon the fact that there was no meeting and the holidays happening, we just didn't get a document done between those several meetings.
I'll make a motion that we give the general manager authority to move forward with finalizing the amendment language with council and bringing it back to the board for final approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on this item? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay. Item 10, executive session. The Board of Trustees may be in executive session to discuss the following items, if any, pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, including where appropriate, Sections 551071, 551072, 074, 076, 086, 089, and 418.183F of the Texas Government Code. All formal action will occur in open session. First item is item 10A, consultation with CRWA's attorneys pursuant to Section 55107.071 of the Texas Government Code to seek legal advice and to discuss settlement offers in connection with cause number 250782 CVE, City of San Marcos versus Canyon Regional Water Authority, County Line Special Utility District, Crystal Clear Special Utility District, Maxwell Special Utility District, and Martindale Water Supply Corporation, pending in the 456th District Court of Guadalupe County, Texas. We also have item 10B, consultation with CRWA's attorneys concerning execution of an extension to the employment contract with the general manager. And we do have the two items voted on in regular session that we'll discuss in executive session as well. I think we can give a brief recess, come back at 7, and we'll start executive session. I'm going to close the open session now. You have to go. Returning to open session at 8:35. We will take no action on item 9. Can you scroll up real quick so I can see it? No action on item 9D. Okay. Action on 9E. Do I have a motion? E is the general manager's contract that extended the term.
I would like to make a motion to extend the general manager's contract to September 30th of 2027.
I have a motion and we have a second from Keith. Is there any other discussion on this item? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. Item 11A. Is there action on item 11A?
I'd like to make a motion to, approve, or adopt, resolution number 25-01-008, approving terms and conditions for settlement of claims asserted against CRWA in cause number 25-0782 CV-E. My glasses on. City of San Marcos v. Canyon Regional Water Authority, County Line Special Utility District, Crystal Clear Special Utility District, Maxwell Special Utility District, and Martindale Water Supply Corporation, pending in the 456th District Court of Guadalupe County, Texas, authorizing the general manager to issue payment of the settlement amount to the city of San Marcos and delegating authority to the board president to execute such documents as are necessary to effectuate settlement subject to ratification by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second by Doris. Any other discussion? Okay.
Oh, sorry,
You said 25.
sorry. I
Okay.
amended.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 12, future board member agenda items. We have our next meeting. It's February 9th, 2026. Are there other board member agenda items? We'll have the policies, the admin policies with the employment section and some draft language, and we'll have a discussion on what that looks like, if we want that language, how long it will be. I would like to put an item on next month's agenda. It can be discussion only for now until we have a little bit more time, about reducing the size of our board of trustees from 22 to 11, one single person for each member entity. So I want to have that discussion at next month's meeting, please. Any other future board member agenda items? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion by Martin Ford. We are adjourned. Thank you.